So when you get your copy of EXUVIAE, and you'll see in the rules that it describes a number of different piles, and I'm just going to run through how they work. So at the start of the game, this is pretty much what you'll have. We've got 3 piles here with 4 cards each, and these are called the EXUVIAE. These are the things that have been left behind by the insect cult. So for instance, this one here, this is Wayne's bar, a bar that used to be massively full right by the docks, but has now been completely left. Anytime you're actually looking at one of the threads that the cult have left behind, you'll be drawing from these cards to determine how well you do. Anytime you're exploring something that's not directly related to that, instead you just draw from the main stock. And so that way you can explore certain things, and we still need to thread together everything that works. Over here we have some of the face cards that haven't yet been put into the pack. Now these face cards will represent interruptions. Anytime they come up in play, you would succeed at your effect, but instead you're interrupted by somebody appearing. At the start, they don't really know you're out there. And until you actually learn more and more about the cult, then that's what's going to happen. And this is what tracks where you know about the cult. The very first card here is the first card in the conspiracy. And this plays out very similarly to a game of Osmosis Solitaire. So any heart that comes up in play will then get added to this pile. And then if we have a card that matches the same value as something in the suit above it, we can then add this beneath. And so essentially we'll see how it plays out. So if your characters are looking for just additional information from some of the people that they've previously spoken to, they might draw from the stock. And in this case, we have an ace. Now, whenever you draw an ace, you will always succeed at your action. But you can only draw this ace once because it's a heart, and so this is now going to get added to the conspiracy. And then say the characters are then kind of exploring Wayne's bar. Again, we've got a 10, a high card, pretty much always going to be successful and useful. We could kind of continue to explore this, but now we find an interruption. Now interruptions never get added to the conspiracy. They just kind of use up some of the space, and they complicate the story as well. So we just pop it up here out of the way. Next, we have another 3. Now, because we already have a 3 of hearts here, we can now open up spades. So we can put the 3 of spades down there. But that is going to mean, because we're exploring more truths about this conspiracy, now the insect cult themselves are going to learn more about what you're doing as players. So more of the court cards that were removed from the start then get added into the rest of this pack. And they'll get shuffled into the rest of the stock. Now one of my favourite things about these rules is the pacing mechanic. Because the more that you learn about the conspiracy, the more interruptions then get shuffled back into the pack. So games will play out, and you'll be exploring new things, and eventually more things will happen. Now let's see what's at the bottom of Wayne's bar here. Now we have a 4. Now although our spades are open, because we don't actually yet have the 4 of hearts, we then can't add these to the conspiracy. So instead, these themselves will be added to individual players' grips. And the players' grips keep track of what they're thinking of pretty much at the most important time at any given point in the game. And essentially, this is the entire way that the entirety of your game will play out. So obviously this game can be played with any complete pack of cards. You don't need anything specifically special for this. And of course, the beta rules themselves are available for backers, so you can even start playing today. I look forward to seeing the stories that you come up with.